We're all on the cosmic journey at the moment from the full harvest moon on the 1st of October right through to the Halloween full moon, which is going to be in Aries on October the 21st. Now, it's quite a journey, really, because we had the new moon in Libra just the other day. So we're going from that kind of nice balanced Libran feeling through towards Aries, which is the ram-like energy. It pushes to get things done and it kind of doesn't like resistance, really. So it's a very different character, and that's what we're moving towards as well, of course, as all the spookiness that goes with Halloween, which is also coming up the same day as the Hunter's Moon, the full moon on October 31st, 2020. So it's time for a tarot reading in this video, Tarot in Wonderland. And what I'm going to do is a 5-card reading, and it's a pick a card reading, really. So the choice is yours. You know, you can either pick a card or you can take it as the full 5 cards, or you can kind of pick 3 of the 5 cards. It is entirely up to you. But let's have a shuffle. Tarot in Wonderland is a fantastic deck, actually. A lot of people think it's going to be kind of childish, but it's one of the most effective decks I've ever used in readings. It really is. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's the first 5 cards off the top of the deck there. We'll put the rest over here somewhere so they don't kind of interfere and get in the way cards can. And we'll turn over the top one, and it's the 4 of Wands. This is a great card to be starting any journey with. Okay, so if you've actually picked all 5 cards and you're seeing this as a reading, this is a really great starting point. If you've picked this card yourself, then things are looking pretty good. But the question is, what's going to happen in the future? Yeah, we've got a house of cards in the background there, and it's got a very solid roof on it. And the question is, can those cards hold that roof up? I think we got this card in the last video reading I did, actually. Can't quite remember now because so much time has passed. But there you go. This is constant energy. You know, everything in the tarot has been going on in its pretty much its present form anyway since the 15th century, if not before. That's just the 15th century when we start getting records of it produced. But anyway, the energy of this card is very constant, and it is actually looking like you could go on into the future for it. But as part of that constancy, the question is, where are you actually going in the future? It all looks pretty good now. It's kind of 4 square, you know, it's the angel number as well. So no doubt the angels are bearing down on this one. The clouds in the sky are nice and pink, and they're far in the distance, but they do look very, very low in the sky, actually. So is there a cloud on your horizon? That's the question to ask. Now, if you've picked all 5 cards, we will find out as we go. But if you just picked card number 1, that's the thing to think about, okay? They're pink clouds, they're kind of pretty, they're beautiful, they're higher heart chakra, really very, very promising. And we do see a real positive relationship indicated in this card. It tends to be a relationship that's either already underway or it's just beginning, and this is going to be where it's going to end up. But do you really want a relationship like that to end? Quite frankly, not really. It's fire sign energy, you know, Leo, Sagittarius, Aries. So it is actually a fiery card, and it suggests that things are actually going to be on the move. Things are actually going to be changing. Life is change. That is the critical point here. Life really is change. And so if things are good now, what are your plans for the future? Where is life going to take you? And where are you going to take life? Where are you going to take your relationship? Okay, let us move on to card number 2. This is the King of Swords. Very different energy in this one. This is air sign energy. Gemini, Libra, Aquarius is involved here. And if you pick this card and that isn't one of your signs, then look for where that sign or those air signs actually appear in your birth chart. If you haven't had a birth chart done yet, I do offer them for sale. You can get one for free on any of the main astrological websites. You just put your details in and they'll send you a birth chart. But it isn't all that detailed. If you really want to go into depth and know about every planet and every asteroid and detailed explanations of what they mean for you, get in touch with me. Email address is down there, and I'll happily produce a birth chart for you. Anyway, yeah, so swords, air signs, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Things are up in the air a bit with the swords, and there is just the one sword here. So even though it's the King of Swords, it's a bit like the Ace of Swords in terms of the symbology of it. Now that does mean that there's some alchemy going on. But what have we got? We've got Humpty Dumpty sitting on a wall, and you just know we're going to be walking on eggshells around. Probably some masculine energy when we get this card coming up. Again, if you chose all 5 cards, this is just step 2. We're coming towards the heart of the matter here. But if you chose this card, then kind of, I'm going to say beware, because the last thing I want to be is negative. That's never the energy I want to bring across in these readings, because there is always something positive to shoot for in life. So you might end up having to walk on eggshells around someone. But the other side of it is you might decide you're not going to walk on eggshells. You don't want that energy. You want to be free to actually be yourself. And that is so important. You know, we all come into this world with a mission to be ourselves. It sounds kind of selfish, but it isn't. You can't pour from an empty vessel. I'm always saying that. And as much as you can't pour from an empty vessel, there is actually a reason why you incarnated into this life as yourself. And the King of Swords, well, you know, he's pushing you to make a decision. I'm sure of that. But if you're not ready to make that decision yet, or if it just doesn't go with the flow of the balance of the way you want to have things in life, then don't worry about it, okay? Everything goes in cycles. There'll be another cycle, and you'll be able to get cracking and get going again. But we are coming towards Halloween, and that's a great time for mediums, spiritualist mediums like myself, and any of you who may be interested in that side of the occult, actually, because the veil between this world and the next gets very, very thin. I say the next world, really, it's the other side of life, because we incarnate into this world and then we're back there. The great majority of our actual eternal lives, if you will, happens out there in eternity. This is some kind of crazy proving ground. I don't really understand exactly what it's all about. I don't think any of us will understand what it's about until we get to the other side. But we come here with a mission, you know. And as we come towards Halloween and we get that much closer to the other world, then we've got to really think about, you know, where is our mission taking us and where are we taking other people? Because when we're in tune with our mission and when we're actually moving forwards, we see that sword actually cutting through things. So anyone who's being a bit kind of too strict, anyone who just hasn't got the right kind of energy, don't be afraid to cut the cord at this time, okay? If you cut a cord and that cord really still needed to be there, then everything will be okay. The cord will grow back and everything will be fine. Okay, but there we go. Swords energy, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Either if that's you, great. If that's not you, well, where are those signs in your birth chart? Do find out. You can find out pretty much for free. Or I'll do a birth chart for you. So card number 3, and it's the 8 of Swords. Now this is the heart of the matter. If you're looking at this as a 5-card reading, right, it's also, I guess, the heart of the matter if you picked this card, because this is your card. Swords again, air sign energy, Gemini, Libra and Aquarius. So things are up in the air again, and there is a decision being made here. This lady is actively deciding that she's going to stay in that situation. She could break away from it quite easily, and there are some magic mushrooms in the background there. I wouldn't take those if I were you. I must admit I did when I was younger, and it took me a long time to get back to normal. But there we go. It's earth magic, you know. It's nature. It's the magic of nature, and that is strongly indicated here. And one of the kind of magical, natural aspects of life we all have, which is the most natural part of us, actually, is that human nature. What do we actually want to do? What kind of people are we? We could stay bound to the sword here, or, like Alice, she's blindfolded and everything, but she could quite easily wriggle that sword out of the ground and just kind of get away from it all, somehow get the blindfold off, somehow get her arms free. She's not tied terribly tightly there, but she's waiting to see what's happening, really. You see the playing cards all over this card, in the sky and on the ground and all over it. Well, in this deck, when we can actually see the faces of some of the playing cards, that shows that the game is on, that things could change, anything could happen. Some of the cards are facing away from us, and those are things that we can't do anything about. So there's a blend of things going on there. And the question is, which way should Alice actually go? Should she set herself free, or should she just wait for someone to come and rescue her? Well, if I was her, I'd get herself free and I'd keep on living her life, because the swords are all about decisions, you know, but you can decide either way. That's the freedom that comes along with the air sign energy there. Righty tighty. So card number 4, where are we going? If you picked number 4 as a card, this is for you. If you picked all 5, this is getting towards the outcome. We're not quite there yet, but we're getting towards the outcome. As I turn over, number 2 from the Major Arcana. This is the High Priestess. I'm looking for her on my list. I can't quite see, no, can't see her anywhere on there, so I'm not sure what the star sign energy is here. And let's just read into the fact that I can't remember what it is at this moment. Okay, something going on here that isn't quite clear. Maybe you knew the answers to this once long ago. Maybe you've forgotten what those answers are. But Alice in this card is actually about to discover a lot of answers for herself. This is the High Priestess card. We can see the 2 towers here of Bina and Chokmah in the Tree of Life, you know, which is the Kabbalistic basis, the Kabbalah that the tarot is all based on. And in the more traditional Rider-Waite deck, there is this curtain behind the Queen, as there is here, but you can kind of see just a little bit of light behind the curtain, and it says that, you know, you kind of know where you're going, but you maybe don't know what it's going to be like when you get there, and you've got to kind of trust the journey, really. I guess you've got to ask yourself questions as well, because it's veiled, but the point is, Alice in this card is actually allowed in through the curtain. She's coming and she's asking the Empress if she's going to be allowed through it. Is it? No, it's not. The High Priestess. She's asking the High Priestess, please, can she be allowed to come in through the window and actually be in that exalted place and then pass through that curtain? And the answer in this story is yes, she can. She's ready. But it is very early in the deck. It's only card number 2. It comes after the Magician in the Major Arcana. So there's just the beginning of a journey here. We've begun the journey already when we get to number 2, but we're not very far along the road, because there are 77 cards in the deck and 20 odd in the Major Arcana, even if you just see it as the Major Arcana. So this, if you chose all 5 cards, this is the penultimate step. This is what you've got to do before you really get to your outcome and really get things singing and making sense to you. But that journey through to Halloween, you know, it is all about this curtain, which is the veil between this life and the next life, this world and the next world. It's all about passing through that curtain. So this really is where we are now if you chose all 5 cards. And I chose all 5 cards, actually, I've got to say it. So think about making that journey, okay? Don't think too long about it, because you actually are making that journey at this moment. That is really what this is all about. So what is the last card? If you chose card number 5, what did you choose? If you chose all 5 of them, what is the outcome going to be? And it's the Page of Wands. Now this is a very wise page, and because it's the Wands, it's about getting things done. We're back to fire sign energy again, Leo, Sagittarius and Aries. This whole reading seems to have been between the air signs and the fire signs. And if you're not one of those, well, that's where the energy is. So do find out where those things are in your birth chart. Okay, it's important. It's going to make a difference, and it's really going to help you to kind of be your own psychic, because you're going to know more about it. Now, as we come towards Halloween, right, I keep on about this, but it's so important at this time of year. It's a very special time. We tend not to see it as being as important as Christmas and Thanksgiving and all the other stuff we do, Easter, whatever, through the cycle of the year. But in the spiritual life, it is a very, very important time. Actually, even the Christian churches will celebrate All Hallows Eve, or, well, they're more likely to celebrate the next day, which is All Saints' Day, which they kind of brought in to try and dilute the influence of the afterlife, which is futile, which is pointless, which is crazy, because the influence of the other world is so, so important, guys. You see, the soul is like a diamond with many facets on it, and each incarnation of the soul is a new facet of that diamond that comes into this world. and you're living your life now as one facet of the diamond, which is your soul, which encapsulates all the lives you've lived throughout eternity. And when your time comes, when any of our time comes and we pass away, we go through the veil and we're back into the afterlife, we're back into the spirit realms, the sacred realms. That facet that we are now goes back and becomes part of the bigger diamond. So everything in this life is actually part of a much, much bigger picture. And that diamond, by the way, is why in spiritualism, if you've loved someone and lost someone, that's how you can be together again. Because even if that soul has reincarnated, that facet of that diamond, of that soul, is actually still there, and you will be able to spend an eternity actually together, talking through things, working things out. No laws of physics, nothing restricting anything there. And that's the great thing about the afterlife, and that's what Halloween is bringing us towards. So getting things done. We're all in this life now. We're all trying to get things done, but it is all part of our journey through to the rest of eternity, which is always going on and always has been going on. The Page of Wands is actually, he's fairly wise as pages go. You know, page energy is always a little bit kind of juvenile, a little bit youthful, a little bit kind of about not seeing the full picture. But as we've got an outcome card here, maybe we need to think, you know, in that very way. Maybe we need to stop trying to know it all and understand it all and just kind of see what comes, see what happens. That's really what the Halloween energy is all about, you know, because we never know what the spirit world is going to bring forward into our lives at that time. I'm always kind of curious about it. I really am. And that's why I enjoy being a medium. That's why I enjoy doing these readings, because it's always bringing more and more kind of truth into being in the most unexpected ways. So to recap, card number 1, it's looking good, but where are we going with the 4 of Wands there, with that fire sign energy? Leo, Sagittarius, air sign energy here with the swords, the King of Swords. Are you walking on eggshells around someone? Do you need to kind of be more yourself, or is it actually good for you? Is it a learning experience that you're walking on eggshells? Different strokes for different folks in these readings that I do. Absolutely always, you must decide. You need to be your own psychic there. But if you chose a card, you're being your own psychic already, because it will mean something to you. I am telling you. Heart of the matter, 8 of Swords there. Do you want to escape? Do you want to wait and see what happens with all these cards that are blowing in the wind? What are these cards going to bring you that are blowing in the air? Or do you want to actually kind of take life in your own hands, move forwards, wriggle that sword out of the ground, get going, make that decision, make that move? It's up to you. Again, it's always up to you. This is beautiful energy with the tarot. You get to kind of choose what's right, and as long as you engage your psychic senses a bit with some meditation or something like that, it's always going to take you places. It's always going to help in a really massive amount of different ways. You never know the different ways that these things can help. Life is a big thing. It's a complicated thing. And so going with the flow is no problem at all if you can just kind of set your mind to go with the flow. So then we came to number 2, the High Priestess here. And if you picked this card, then you're ready to go forward. If you picked all 5 cards, you're coming towards being ready to go forward. It is still that forward thrusting, forward moving energy. And whichever way you looked at it, you've earned your kind of right to go on this journey, to go in between those twin towers of Bina and Chokmah and start climbing the Kabbalistic tree of life, finding out how God and the angels are revealing their energy, revealing their goodness to you, because that's what the Kabbalah is all about. And then, of course, Page of Wands, which is like ending with a question, really. It seems inconclusive, but when you really think about what this means, this is getting things done. It's that need to get things done, which we're all kind of, sucked into all the time, which we all need to be thinking about. That need is actually very, very strong need in every human being to get things done, because life is change. Life is always change. And if you don't feel you know the way forward yet, be like the page. Just be a little bit more indecisive there. Wait for someone to come along and help. Maybe you can help somebody else. Maybe that's part of your journey. Who knows? It's all to play for. But there we go. That is my 5-card spread for the journey between New Moon in Libra and the full Hunter's Moon, which is going to be in Aries on the 31st of October. I will be back way before then with more readings because I love doing them. Thanks very much indeed for watching, guys. Don't forget, if you want a birth chart, the email address to reach me on is excuse me, down below. If you're watching on social media, just drop me a personal message and we will sort it out. There is a small fee involved, but I do the most detailed birth charts and we go right into all the asteroids, right into what everything means. So if you'd like that, do get in touch and I'll sort one out for you. Meanwhile, if you're on YouTube, give me a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. One day I will reach 1,000 subscribers. It's been going up and down for about 2 years now, around the 800 mark. Just need to get to 1,000 so I can go live. So hit that subscribe button, whatever you do, okay? And leave me a comment, guys, as well. Let me know what you think about this. It's always great to share the journey with you. Meanwhile, have a fantastic time ahead. Love, light, and the very best of luck to you. Peace.